This is, as you probably have been watching, so from 1922 to present, it really never worked. It leaked and was bad, and it looked terrible. It was supposed to be beautiful. It was opened in 1922, and it always leaked. There was a problem. It's called the Great Reflecting Pool between the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial. And right in between is almost 2,500 feet long. I could show you, it would be like the tallest building in the world laid on its side, and the building wouldn't reach it. And today it gets completed. The pool gets completed at 4 o'clock, and the water will start to flow in, and it won't leak because it's done properly. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be American flag blue. It's the color we picked. And I think it'll be something amazing. It's never worked. A great concept that never worked because it always leaked. They used stone originally, and the stone leaks because it's got a lot of crevices. And we have a very special material that we used, and we'll do this for a tiny fraction. You remember President Obama tried to do it, and it failed miserably. They spent over $100 million between him and Biden. They spent much more than $100 million, and it never worked, and it was filthy dirty. We took out 12 truckloads of garbage out of this pool. It was just rotting and terrible, a terrible thing for the country. So we have many monuments and fountains all over Washington, and we're just about completed with all of them. The fountains are all working now, 28 fountains. And as of this moment, just about this moment, a couple are going to be a few days longer. And we went on a real kick. Some of the most beautiful fountains in the world, but they haven't worked in 30, 40 years, most of them. As you know, you saw the one in front of the station. Union Station was horrible, and now it's beautiful. It was all covered in graffiti. But this would be the big one, because this is, again, could you get me that picture of the how it compares in size to the biggest buildings anywhere in the world? It's sort of amazing. So we're very proud of that. We're proud of a lot of things we've done, but this is something. So Washington now, as you know, a very safe city. It's considered a very safe city. It was a very unsafe city 14 months ago. Now it's a very safe city. So we're very proud of that, but it's also become a beautiful city. The encampments, the homeless are no longer sitting in the middle of the park. The level of beauty of the city is incredible. We regressed many of the areas. We're really doing a job at Lafayette Park, which is really the entrance to the White House. And that's going to be completed very shortly, and it'll be incredible, as it was originally envisioned. Most of it we're doing as originally envisioned. And if you walk across the street to Lafayette Park, you'll see something that's incredible. It's going to be, we'll have it open before July 4th. This, we wanted to get it open before July 4th. On the reflecting pond, or the reflecting pool, as some people call it, very important to us was the longevity, having it so that it's not closed every day. All these are, I just had this done. You're getting a first glimpse, but that's your size compared. So those are among the tallest buildings in the world, including the Empire State Building, World Trade Center, Sears Tower, Chicago. So if you lay it on its side, you'd take 2 or 3 of them to fill it in, because the width is almost 200 feet wide. And actually much more than 2,000, close to, including everything, it's about 2,500 feet in length to the end. And it's going to be beautiful. It was a great concept that never worked because they couldn't hold the water. Now they hold the water for a tiny fraction of the cost. We did a fantastic job. And Department of Interior was amazing. Doug Burgum, really absolutely amazing. And you can have something you're going to be very proud of, and it'll last for 50 to 100 years before you have to do anything with it. Very strong, powerful substance that we use. And we picked a color called American Flag Blue. We had color choices. And before it was just gray, it was a color of concrete and stone. So it's going to be really special. I thought you'd like to see it. And the work ends on the pool, we also did a lot more than we anticipated. We did all of the sidewalks outside of the pool where people walk or they stand. That's where Martin Luther King made his great speech with 1 million people. I had the same amount of people. Actually, I had a little bit tighter. It was a little bit tighter. They said he had 1 million people and I had 25,000 people. And yet, if you look at the picture of comparison, the exact same location, the exact same pool, except now the pool is clean. It was filthy dirty then. But it was amazing because that was my first glimpse into politics. I made a speech and I had more people. In other words, you put the picture side by side, which we have. And they said, I had 25,000, he had 1 million, but I had more people. They were tighter. My people were tighter. But these are minor details. That's when I said, well, wait a minute, there's something wrong. But this is a very famous place, and it should be treated properly. A person came to my office, a very substantial person from a foreign country, another country, and said, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln, you take a look at the Washington Monument, beautiful, Lincoln Memorial. He said, but the walking in between was disgusting. The thing was loaded up. We took 11 or 12 dumpsters, trucks full of garbage out of there that they were shoveling, and it was there for years under the Biden administration. Again, Biden and Obama, if you combine the money they spent, it was over $142 million. And they got nothing as usual. So I'm very proud of it. Maybe I shouldn't say that before it opens. Maybe I'll open it. It'll look like a sieve, but it's not going to be. I'm very good at building things and constructing things. So I hope you're going to go take a look at it. The sidewalks are being sandblasted. The granite's on the outside, they're granite. And that lasts on a strong stone. And that's being sandblasted. It's going to look like really something beautiful. It's going to be brand new. It's got a lot of life. So just enjoy it. Rodney Scott is here along with Peter Navarro. Peter's been with me for a long time, knows more about China than any human being on earth, except for, I would say, President Xi knows a lot more. But other than President Xi, Peter's probably in second place, and certainly having to do with trade. And but they're here to talk about something else. And Rodney, if you would, please.
Sure. So we're talking about rolling out a customs EO. Why is that important? Basically, it's America first in the trade environment, like we've been doing on the border. People are used to the illegal immigration, the narcotics. We've locked that down. This is literally taking the same principles and applying them to trade to protect American industry. Different countries and different people are undercutting our import-export rules, the tariffs, to literally undermine American businesses. And we're going to put a stop to it in the same way. We are going to increase the amount of data we have so that we can actually make conscious decisions about who and what comes into this country. And we're going to start holding people accountable. So we're literally going to use the rules that are in place to a certain extent and then make some recommendations for legislation going forward. But we're going to start holding trade accountable for bringing threatening things and threatening products into our country, just like we have on the rest of the border. So Customs and Border Protection gets a lot of attention for the border wall, everything else. This is going to be basically the equivalent in the trade environment.
And sir, you did a miracle when you came in. You shut that border down in a matter of days to what has been a flood of millions of illegal aliens. And a secure America is a safe America. What we're going to do here, the EO you're going to sign, that's about a $20 to $30 billion a year EO you're going to get, because we are going to crack down with this detective border that CBP is putting in innovatively. We're going to crack down on the fentanyl. We're going to crack down on the unhealthy products, the counterfeits, and all the tariff evaders. So this is a message to the world today. When you sign this, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And this is what Donald Trump does. He secures our borders, and not just physically, but in terms of trade. The new customs border is going to be awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. We had millions of people pouring through our border. And when I got here, and it happened twice, but the first time was a lot easier because it wasn't nearly as bad as this. But in 2016, we had a bad border, really a bad border. And pretty quickly, we made it very good. We started the wall. I built over 1,000 miles of wall. Without that, you could have never done it, no matter how good you do. The wall has been, remember the Democrats, I call them. But the Democrats said the wall doesn't do anything. I said, no. Walls work. Two things, everything else is obsolete. It gets obsolete quickly. Two things, wheels and walls. They've been here for a long time. A wheel and a wall, you'll always have. Other things, your computer's going to be obsolete about 2 days after you buy it. But wheels and walls, they work. And we built an incredible wall that stretches more than 1,000. Think of it, 1,000 miles. And without that, we would not be as successful. We're building now additional areas because we need some additional wall in certain areas. But we had millions of people, 25 million people. I think it's more than that, but 25 million people came in during the Biden years, the Biden disasters. And we stopped that. We stopped it down to zero. Hard to believe, but the numbers come out. Every month they come out 0, 0, 0. People don't come anymore because they know they're not going to get through. So we had caravans with 10, 15, 20, 25,000 people coming up from countries. And remember, I know these people. I know the leaders of the countries. They're smart and they're cunning and they're streetwise. And they would put their people that were from prisons in there. And they would put their murderers in there. And they'd put a lot of bad people. And they'd also put people that just didn't work. They'd put all of their welfare recipients in there. And they'd send them into our country. And all of that stopped. And many of those people are now brought back. Many of the murderers, 11,888 were murderers. I say it all the time. 50% of them murdered more than one person, 2, 3, 4, which when 7 people murdered into our country, they let them into our country. It's a sin that should never be forgotten. So it's a much different country right now. We're respected by everybody. Everybody in the world respects. We just got back from China, as you know. Some of you were with us. And President Xi was great. And he said, you're a respected country, respected all over the world. He said, you did it so fast. We did. We did it in a very short period of time. This country was a laughingstock all over the world. For 4 years, we were a laughingstock. And now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the most successful country in the world. So this is very important what you're doing. And I'd like to have Will just say a few words about it specifically, please.
Yes, sir. As Rodney and Councilman Navarro said, this is an executive order on strengthening customs enforcement using new technologies and new approaches. The idea here is to ensure that importers of record, other people moving goods across our border, are accurately reporting what they're bringing in, that contraband, that illegal goods aren't being brought across the border, and that goods being brought in are being accurately accounted for purposes of duties and tariffs and all of the other things we require of importers of record. But this executive order will launch a series of bold new steps that I think we as an administration believe will result in the tightest, most controlled border in American history, following on, obviously, your success in closing the southern border and stopping the scourge of illegal immigration into the country as well, sir.
So, Peter, what kind of money do you think this involves in terms of savings to our country?
I will guarantee you the first year will be at least 15 billion, the next year 25. And out there's 80 to 100 billion that the tariff evaders are doing. Plus, sir, we're going to stop more of the fentanyl coming in, and we're going to crack down on counterfeits. This is good for America. This is good for the people that elected you. It's good for the country.
And we have fentanyl coming in 59% less. Cut it by a number that nobody thought was even possible. We're going to get it a lot lower than that, but we have it. And we did this in a very short period of time.
This is going to be a great one, sir.
You didn't have
This
the
is a
same
moneymaker for us. And CBP has been doing a really great job innovating on this, sir.
You've done a fantastic job. Thank you.
Appreciate it, sir.
Okay, we'll start one. Oh, that's a good one. That's a nice one. Okay, what else do you have?
This is another executive order on reforms to the federal workforce, sir. Currently, with respect to many policymaking positions in departments and agencies across government, we lack the ability, because of existing personnel rules, to effectively discipline or promote people who are in policymaking roles. This executive order follows on a number of previous executive orders. The end goal is making the federal workforce more accountable and ensuring that people, particularly in policymaking roles, aren't unaccountable to the wishes of the administration.
And the reason for this was what? Whose idea was that?
James Shirk, who's here from Domestic Policy Council, can
Would
speak
you like to
that
say
as well.
something? Come on, you did a great job on this. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. It's been a longstanding problem that it's almost impossible to fire a federal employee, even in cases of serious misconduct. And as a result, if you have employees who are trying to undermine the wishes of the American people by pushing their own agenda or just incompetent at what they're doing, agencies have a longstanding difficult time getting rid of them. And that's a particular problem if you're in a senior policy influencing role where you're controlling the policies of the entire agency. What this does is basically treats those employees like private sector workers. They're going to be hired on the basis of merit and competence, but if they're messing up, then they can be removed quickly rather than taking a year longer
That's
to get rid of them.
That's great. And you were very much involved in it.
I was, sir.
This guy central casting. Tell him. He's like perfectly casted. I'm just saying, you couldn't have done that any better. Were you nervous?
A little. Thank you, sir.
Would anybody else like to say anything? About either one? What about you? Come on over here. Come on. Can you top him? You don't have to. Thank you very much. Great job. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, this customs reform EO is a long time coming for us. It helps us solve problems that have plagued the customs system for many years. We've had a system where people have basically been able to hide behind shell companies. They move from one to the next, and then we can't go after them. This EO really enables us to crack down and hold people accountable.
It's so important. I know you took it so seriously. See how serious they are? I mean, there's a love of the country. This isn't like normal stuff. These are the smartest people in the world. They can do anything they want. They can have any job, and they love this country. They just want to be here, and they hate what you saw, and you fixed it. Thank you very much, all of you. Anybody else? Anybody? Only if you want. I'm not going to call anybody. Anybody? You don't have to. They covered you well, right? I don't know if you could do any better. Thank you very much. That's a great job, fellas. It's a big one. Okay, thank you.
Big one. Welcome, my
Pulitzer
friend.
Prize winner over there. I got the great Pulitzer Prize winner.
Just watching a little bit of yesterday's show. Literally, as I came live, Jasper just jumped up on my little makeshift desk here. He is ornery. We've been out most of the day, having a good day. I hope you're all well. Welcome to the show. I am still on my temporary digs, but the content is king. My friends, this is all about the content. Unshaven, unshowered, but man, oh man, have I got a show for you tonight. Why? Why do I have a great show? Is it David Snedeker is amazing and just, yeah. But no, this is the comms that are coming out. The things that are being done for the sake of our country, the things that are being exposed. I know we get mad because we're seeing another stolen election in California, but President Trump in real time, okay, is sharing this, is sharing what's really happening in California. And he knows what's happening in California. Excuse me. For some reason, my friends, I'm having trouble clicking on to. Here it is. Okay, there we go. All right. So, okay, gonna talk about this. So let me take you to President Trump's post about California. Okay. Now, okay, let me take you there. Don't know why Truth is doing that. Okay, let me bring this up for you. Okay. All right, now. President Trump posts, look what's happening in California. The Democrats, right before our very eyes, are stealing the vote. I hope the Republicans are watching so that they can finally pass the Save America Act. President DJT, Donald J. Trump. All right. Then he posts right after that the Save America Act. Number one, all voters must show photo ID identification. Number two, all voters must show proof of citizenship. Number three, no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. Number four, no men in women's sports. And five, no transgender mutilization surgery for our children. Cheers, everybody. By the way, again, if you weren't on 2 nights ago, check out the newest mug from Holly Marsh. Absolutely fabulous. And there's Jasper playing with the deer, which he does here as well, because he can chase them across the field here before he was held up by that fence. Cheers, everyone. And thank you, Holly. Okay. Let me take you to this. So he hits the Save America Act right after the California fraud. Okay. And then he posts after that, an hour later, I believe we have the most dishonest elections of any country anywhere in the world. President Donald J. Trump. Sorry, because I have to be specific about the capital letters. Now, I'm going to go past some of the amazing, beautiful things, but this is pretty hilarious. Filling up the poll. Unbelievable. And I'll get back to this. But then an hour ago, watch California, everybody. Our election process is as bad or worse than any third world country. The biggest difference is they count their votes much faster. They don't wait 7 days to tell you who won, rigging the election during each and every one of them. Americans are ashamed of what is happening, President Donald J. Trump. Now, Now, here's what I want to take you to. If this is also, there's one more that I got to take you to. Okay. And here we go. Watch California, everyone. Let me get back to DJT. Okay. Let me make sure I've got them all for the day. And I'm going to take you back to President Trump's posts as well, to show you a few other things. Okay. But is that happening? Okay. Okay. I'm going to get back to, okay. This is it. These were 20 hours ago. Okay. Let me take you to that. Okay. The Democrats are at it again. They are trying to steal the governor of California primary and the mayor of Los Angeles primary away from two great Republican candidates. Here we go with the very late and massive numbers of mail-in ballots. There's big cheating by the Democrats in California. Votes are all tied up, may not be in 4 weeks, under investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles. Why the vote counting delay? President DJT. Now, my friends, He's actually telling us that it's under investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles. Okay. The post after these two posts, okay, is tonight's thumbnail. He posted Police Department of Corrections, New Jersey, with the Punisher logo and the Donald John Trump hair, and then the Policemen's Benevolent Association, PBA Local 105, with the same thing. This is now comes the pain, which we've seen from Dan Scavino as well. So these comms, my friends, are really, really off the charts in terms of their ability to really kind of clarify that we are very, very close. Okay. And remember, President Dan Scavino just 3 days ago posted "Every journey has an end," and I took you through that dive and President Trump's comment about the end. Okay, and also the Q drops about the end. So this is some major things happening, my friends, that we are watching. We are literally watching history unfold. And it is so freaking awesome because this has never been tried before and will probably never be duplicated again. And that's really saying something when you consider in the whole, vast timeline of the of human beings, right? That this is significant. We are taking back our country. We're taking back our world from the Satanists. And they're trying to hit President Trump many times over. But I want to stay on LA for just a moment. And this is why. Because I'm going to take us, first of all, yesterday's Delta was significant. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to take you right to why. Obviously, I always do, right? But also, I was really blown away. As you guys know, I used to live in LA for 25 years. And so I've been, following Spencer Pratt very, very closely, and also making sure that we are, excuse me. Let me take you to today's deltas. Let me pause just a moment here to get caught up here. I need to take care of some business there. Okay. Now, today's delta. President Trump mentioned specifically today Lafayette Plaza, right? Lafayette Park, right next to the White House, right? That is where President Trump has gone, and he held up the Bible. And that was the fake news about how he used the National Guard to clear the area. But what he did do was stop the vandalism against St. Paul's? Correct me if I'm wrong, my friends, in Lafayette Park. But remember, this is when he held up the Bible, and Q posted, "God wins." Okay. Now, also, today, Spencer Pratt posted, God always wins. All right. Now, Q didn't talk about Spencer Pratt. Q did say, watch LA. I'm sorry, watch California, watch New York. And what's happening in those two states, but primarily the two cities that are our two biggest cities. Now, Chicago used to be called Second City because it was the second major city of the United States and also the most populated. But LA has since overtaken Chicago as the second most populated city in the country. And so we now have number one is New York City, number two is Los Angeles. Always in the public eye, right? New York City, Wall Street, Los Angeles, Hollywood, right? And the music industry. Mandami is an absolute socialist communist mayor, without question. It's not up for debate. It's this country, New York City, which used to be New Amsterdam, was created out and thrived out of capitalism. And now we have a Muslim socialist communist mayor in New York City. And what else did we just see? We saw somebody going to the House who was a witness for the bombing, the 2003 World Trade Center bombing that was unsuccessful. And and I posted yesterday that let me pull that up for you. Many of you may have already seen it, but this was very disturbing to me. As you know, I spent a lot of years in New York City. I lost somebody I knew fairly well on 9/11, and it was a very sad day. I've been to World Trade Centers. I've lived off and on in New York City. It was a very sad day for anybody who had a very strong connection to New York City. And one of the things that we kept hearing is never forget. Never forget. We went around talking about that. We went around, reciting never forget. And this is Todd Let's Roll Beamer, which, by the way, that story is complete and utter nonsense. They didn't make phone calls from Flight 93. The stories that came out of that said they were seat back phones. Others said they were their personal phones. But if you get up in the air, you can't make cell phones from your personal cell phone. And they didn't have seat back phones on that flight. And yet all these calls came through, and even people said, it didn't sound like her. My wife, she wouldn't have said what she said, that kind of stuff. Flight 93, there was no wreckage in Shanksville at all. This whole thing was a scam. But at any rate, people know him as the person who said, let's roll, and they supposedly took over the plane from these terrorists. His final resting place is Cranberry, New Jersey, where he was living with his wife and children before his murder. Now, he was definitely murdered, I believe. just not in the way we thought. Cranberry is located in New Jersey 12, where the new Democratic nominee for Congress is Adam Hamaway. Hamaway was a close associate and translator to Omar Abdul Rahman, aka the Blind Sheik, an arch terrorist convicted of masterminding multiple plots against targets in New York City, including the World Trade Center. Hamaway testified at Abdel Rahman's trial as a defense witness. It has also been reported that Hamaway traveled to Bosnia to volunteer at an organization that was later unmasked as an AI Al-Qaeda front group. Al-Qaeda front group. One of his loudest and most high-profile supporters and endorsers has openly declared that America deserved the 9/11 attacks. Hamaway is now the prohibitive front runner to represent Todd Beamer's district in the U.S. Congress. Okay. This is very sad. Now, whatever you believe about 9/11, certainly this person was a part of it, whether, in some capacity. And I said, what never forget looks like in a woke society. People are just so much in a hurry to show how progressive they are, to show how open-minded they are. That's why Barack Obama got elected, because Obama sounded like Osama. And what better way? And they knew he had Muslim history. And what better way to show how completely woke they are than doing that? Okay. Now, so let's go back to Spencer Pratt for a moment. Okay. So Spencer Pratt posts, God always wins, right? Now, we wouldn't think that Pratt was necessarily a part of Q, but for the longest time, I have been showing you how many people that are a part of Q. Nobody suspected that Musk was a part of Q. No, nobody other than on this show. Todd and I pulled up. He found the hat, the picture of them in the Oval Office. It made it look like they were. He and Jack Dorsey had wizard hats on. Then, much later, when he bought Twitter, I told you he was a part of the operation, that they weren't going to leave this up to chance, right? So Musk was a part of the Q operation. So the second biggest city in the United States after New York City, and so now you have this Muslim mayor in New York City. You have this Muslim going into Congress representing people that died in 9/11. And then you have LA, and you have Karen Bass, who is an absolute card-carrying communist, Castro communist. She's been to Cuba several times. She's completely controlled. And so these are the two big cities. So why wouldn't Q bring Pratt in, even if it was Pratt's decision? I don't think Q would leave the second largest city in the country, up for grabs, unless they were using this to catch them in an action of, the theft of the election. I think that's what this is all about. Okay, is to expose the election fraud, and President Trump went hard on this today. Okay, which is significant. Okay, so not only does President Trump talk about Lafayette Park, it takes us to this drop God wins yesterday. Today, Spencer Pratt brings it into the vernacular again. Okay. Pelosi, POTUS walked to church. Pelosi are one with the people in Black community. She holds a Bible, fake pictures created of Hitler holding Bible, Project White Supremacy narrative. Pelosi holds Bible. MSDNC, Pelosi, Democrats are a blessing for our Black communities, attempt to divide and control. Pelosi was captured long ago. This is what I thought I had you with me here. Okay. So I think Pratt, what's going on with Pratt, it's just so obvious that why wouldn't we vote for a man who lost his home in this fire that has devastated the whole communities of Los Angeles? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, right? God, we got some good stuff coming, folks. Wow. We got some really good stuff. Now, 2 hours ago, okay, the U.S. Senate has rejected the Save America Act as part of budget reconciliation. 48-50 would have required voter ID and proof of citizenship nationwide. Republican nays Tom Tillis, Lisa Murkowski, Mitch McConnell, and Susan Collins. Unbelievable. It needed 60 votes. Why can't the Senate pass what over 80% of Americans want? Now, also, by the way, why would Howley, and I'm going to share this on my timeline so you guys can share this out. What a bunch of pieces of shit. So why is Howley freezing President Trump's recess picks? This is ridiculous. We got unbelievable stuff going on here, folks. Let me take you to well, first of all, let me take you to this interview from Mike Lindell TV. Okay. And this is the reporter from Mike Lindell TV. And listen to Nancy Pelosi, who, by the way, is obviously is going to be a huge problem as we unveil more and more about J6. Like, for example, the fact that the J6ers were mistreated. There's the money that Trump's setting aside for the J6ers whose rights were violated. And we're finding out more and more about how many FBI agents were involved in that whole situation. President Trump was talking again about J6 yesterday and today. And I think the day before, when he said what a huge crowd he had down at the Ellipse when he gave his speech before we went up to the Capitol. And he talks about how beautiful an event it was. And he was absolutely correct. I experienced that myself. And it was a beautiful, beautiful event before the FBI infiltrated it and ruined it. And they needed this to happen, which is why Pelosi is being approached right now, because she turned down the National Guard, and she said it on video.
Hi, Congresswoman Pelosi. Last time I asked you about January 6th, why you turned the National Guard away on January 6th, you told me to shut up and that I was repeating Republican talking
to shut up again because you're speaking lies. And I
But you're right here. You're right here on the record saying,
no,
I'll admit it.
No, I
Absolutely on record. She's saying that. You've seen it. We've shown it here.
did not admit it. The president never would agree to send the National Guard. Don't waste your time or mine on you.
Why was your daughter filming you on January
Why
6th?
don't you get away?
These are just questions the American people want answers to.
No, you know what? I don't even think you're a real journalist. You work for Mike Pillow Man.
Actually,
Mike Pillowman.
I do, and we're
Yeah,
very
well,
proud.
I don't consider that journalism. Like the Pillow Man, that's not journalism. I don't have any reason to talk to you.
We'd love to give you a free
I want you to
pillow.
record this. I want people to
Give me
know
a free
that you are
pillow.
not a real journalist. You mark from Mike the Pillow Man, and all you do is spout untruths.
Okay.
Get away
You
from
can
me.
insult me all you
Get
want, but
away from me.
Thank you, guys.
thank you, Congresswoman. We'll give you my pillow so you can have a nice sleep tonight, okay? Take care.
She's fabulous. Anybody know her name? I should know her name. Folks, this to me is part of the show. This is the script. Think about this. I want to say this again. Everybody that was at the fake inauguration of Joseph Robinette Biden, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. The person wearing the Joseph Robinette Biden mask, that wasn't even here's the thing. He didn't even look like the guy that's been in the Senate for 47 years. So they were basically, did I get taken down on Facebook? Some Cat Mother B was asking. So basically, my friends, this is it was a fake inauguration. It was not shot on the day. Okay, it was not shot on the day. It looks like I'm still up on Facebook. Okay. All right. So yeah, that bitch is still walking around, Christine Lembo says. But she's been in capitulation because she was there on the day of the fake inauguration, which was not on January 20th. That's how long she has been reading a white hat script. Otherwise, why wouldn't she come out and expose the whole thing? Doesn't make any sense, folks. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Hi, Congresswoman Pelosi.
Uh,
Last time I asked you about
Who's
January
reading
6th.
a white hat script that's been handed to her. We already exposed her being, she was walking with U.S. Marshals on the day of the inauguration, which wasn't January 20th, by the way, again. And we have U.S. Marshals that were escorting her and told her not to speak. They were dictating to her what she would and would not do. Okay. So that's really, really important to wrap our head around it. So don't be surprised that Spencer Pratt is posting Q drops. Okay. Because even though God always wins versus God wins. Sure. Yeah. You can certainly split hair. Okay. And say that's not the same or what have you, but come on, this is, we're not in the business of splitting hairs when we're getting comms that are so direct to the point. Okay. And I'm going to take you to something else too, which is unbelievable. And it has to do with President Trump's one of his posts today. All right. So let me take you to hold the phone here. Okay. Now, let me take you back to today's deltas. Okay. First of all, Lafayette Park, that's a big one. Okay. That's a big one. Oh, thank you. Hunter Sabo said her name is Allison Steinberg. Allison Steinberg. Okay. All right. And Cat Mother B, I don't think I was taken down. Thank you, Moonbeam and Quasi Pete, for being here and holding down the fort and being awesome. So let me take you to today's deltas. Okay, so this was Lafayette Park. He mentioned specifically Lafayette Park. Okay, where again, I don't know if you guys gave me that info. If you did, Moonbeam, would you text it to me? I think it's St. Paul's at Lafayette Park. But he mentioned this today, and this was yesterday's Delta. I'm sorry, he mentioned it yesterday, and on this Delta. Okay, on this Delta. Antifa mapping started a long time ago. We've been to this very recently about the George Floyd's death, and we went to this because of what happened with Nowak in the UK, who said I can't breathe, and that was what the Democrats used to drum up all the concern about George Floyd. Okay, so this was in 2020, and Q is telling us Antifa mapping started a long time ago, which means that they have been absolutely dialed in to Antifa and what's been going on. We took you to this 2 days ago. Boom, 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 boom. A week to remember, dark to light, blackout necessary, which also corresponds to President Trump's post about 007, which the 007 is obviously has the logo of the gun in it. And this post upside down, it looks like a gun. And this was yesterday when President Trump posted this. Trump 007. Okay. 007. All right. That's huge, my friends. Okay. Picture with Whitney Houston. Okay. The greatest attraction. Yeah. So the comms are very, very dasting, my friends. Like really like, wow. Okay. We are really seeing, they're really pointing out to us what's going on. St. John's Episcopal Church. I said St. Paul's. Yes, St. John's. Thank you, Moonbeam. I appreciate that. So do you see these comms that are just so very dasting, my friends? Okay. Really incredible. Okay. So let me take you to President Trump's post on here, let me just find it. He congratulates Steve Hilton, by the way, coming in first in last night in California vote for governor. And he's going to make a huge difference, right? Let's see. Communists always do well. Again, okay. Q said, watch California, right? Q said, watch New York. And I'll take you to that. Q said it many times, okay? Will election fraud be revealed soon? Yes, midterms are safe. This is April 19th, 2018. Watch California. Meanwhile, they're saying, yes, midterms are safe. Will election fraud be revealed soon? Allison Mack, Nexium. When does a bird sing? What did President Trump take us to the other day when he said, stop chirping, like all these birds that are chirping need to relax and was it trust the hold on, let me find, I want to find Dan's post with the birds. and I'm trying to remember where this one was, and I think it might have been not there. It was the here it is. No, but Dan also. I'm looking at the wrong Dan. I think I'm looking at. There's two Scavino posts or two Scavino accounts, and this was Memorial Day, and it was the birds chirping, and I'm not pulling it up handily right now, but it takes us to the Q drop, which is when do birds sing, and that is of great significance because we're watching New York City, watching California, eyes wide open, who will be next? Watch California was deliberate. Will voter fraud in California ever be brought to light? Again, it's restated here. What city was Epstein arrested in? New York City, 5-5. Watch California. When does a bird sing? Reposting the previous one. And so that is the watch California and watch the New York as well, right? Now, let me take you back to yesterday's Delta. The week, boom, 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 a week to remember dark to light. We've got the 007 as well. Q Army worth remembering. Mistakes to some, roadmaps to others. The SCIF, military intelligence. This is 14, a repost of 14 of Washington crossing the Delaware. The military, Antifa, again, how are they allowed to operate? Full circle, why is Antifa allowed to operate? What happens if Soros-funded operations get violent and engage in domestic terrorism? What happens if mayors, police comms, chiefs do not enforce the law? We're looking at what we're looking. We're looking at this mayor of New York. We're looking at the mayor of LA. We're looking at the mayor of Seattle. Think recent events. You have more than you know. We're looking at the Minneapolis mayor, Mayor Frey, right? And the best is yet to come. Yeah, so the swamp runs deep here, okay? Shadow presidency, shadow government, insurgency, irregular warfare. We're learning more and more about the Autopen and Biden or Obama influence and all that. The swamp runs deep. What is President Trump cleaning up? All the water, all the fountains in DC, especially he talked today. I'm sorry, yesterday again. That was yesterday's press conference. My apologies. Of how much trash they had to take out of the reflecting pool. They want you divided, labeled by race, religion, class, sex, etc. Okay. Projection from the MSDNC, dividing you, pro-America versus anti-America. That's never been more obvious, right? Prevent, reobtain power by any means necessary, which is what the deep state has tried to do. Prevent public exposure of truth. Prevent accountability. Your life means nothing to them, sheep. I mean, look at the accountability issue with what Nancy Pelosi was just saying. She's not being held accountable. We think that's the perception, and people are getting upset and frustrated by that. Meanwhile, Anons know that's not the case at all. Stand strong, stand together. Humanity is good. You're a vote when it matters and a $sign when it does not. Pray for strength, pray for guidance, pray for America. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. This was the POTUS walk to church, the whole bit. Her photo op is fine, his is not. safe zones. Let's see what this is. In a stunning development, our office has learned that every single one of the St. Louis looters and rioters arrested were released back onto the streets by local prosecutor Kim Gardner. This is where the former police officer who was doing security for the jewelry store was murdered during these riots. They were all put back on the street. This was unbelievable. I'm draining the swamp, and the swamp is trying to fight back. Don't worry, we will win. The swamp runs deep. I've been telling you that the fountains, the reflecting pool, it is all symbolic. Watch the water. It's all symbolic of cleaning the water, cleaning. We're talking about Trump on the $250 bill. We're talking about Trump's signature on the U.S. currency. We're talking about, we're catching the fraud. We're catching the money laundering, the currency, the absolute maritime law. This is why Q kept saying, watch the water, because all of these things play a role. All of these things come into play with these fountains in the water and cleaning the water so that we have clean currency, not dirty currency, not currency that has been used for child trafficking, human trafficking. This is the money laundering that's been going on for a very, very long time. Excuse me. The White House has a new logo, or a new what do you call those things? Thumbnail, right? The White House, that's what it looks like right there. And it says 250 with the eagle and the old 13 colony flag and 50 states flag, excuse me. And this is wh.gov. The water is on. The reflecting pool is reflecting, and DC is looking better than ever. We are so back. Thank you, President Trump. And look at this. Look at, it's not filled up yet, but look how clean the water is. And look how it's reflecting. And I talked about this the other night, if you didn't see that, about the significance of the reflecting pool. What is it reflecting? We have demonized as a woke society, as a woke education. We have demonized our founders, George Washington, the Washington Monument. We have demonized Lincoln, even though he was a Republican and he freed the slaves. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Cheers, everybody. Have a little white wine. I had a little pasta tonight. Normally I'll have a little red, but that was left over from the graduation parties. I don't like white. But you know, it's a nice change of pace. Look at the reflection. Okay. It's not even full yet, but look at the beautiful water. Look at the clean water. Okay. This is not an accident, my friends. I don't believe this is absolutely symbolic. And it's wonderful what we're seeing. So, but let me take you back to a very significant post by President Trump. So amidst all the voter fraud in California that he's talking about, okay, he also congratulates Steve Hilton. I think too big to rig, okay. And also talks about the reflecting pool. Okay. The water will start flowing, right? And the walkways will be cleaned and sandblasted and finished soon. This will be the first time since the day it was built, 1922, that it has worked and worked wonderfully indeed. President Donald J. Trump. So this is significant. Okay. Now let's go to communists always do well with the voters, or as they would say, the people in the early years. But in the end, the country, state, or city goes to hell. Great violence proceeds at levels never seen before, and the entity dissolves into poverty, squalor, and crime. Remember, breathtaking popularity first, and then guaranteeing death and destruction. President Donald J. Trump. Then he follows that up with, has anyone ever seen a happy communist? President DJT. Okay. This is unbelievable. He talks about the UFC World Championship fights on the South Lawn of the White House after the G7 in France. Okay. One of the most entertaining nights in American history. Very interesting. Okay. Records indicate that whilst fights of a much lower level took place at the White House throughout its long and storied history, nothing even comes close to this. The greatest fighters in the world, champions all, was even thought of for the People's House. President Donald J. Trump. Okay. Yeah. Wow. So awesome, right? So he's bringing to light the communists, right? And then if you add the largest tax and regulation cuts in U.S. history, 5,000 and 10,000 per family, coupled with falling prices across the board from sleepy Joe Biden years, Trump and the Republicans win the affordability wars by record numbers. And then he gets back into the steal of the election. Okay. So, very significant, my friends. Let me get to the chat, see if you have any questions or see what your thoughts are. Don't want to ignore you. Let's see. Georgie says, Dave, your thoughts that a false flag will happen during the World Cup or a real event since the entire world will be watching? And does Q say anything in the drops about the World Cup? I don't believe that Q mentions the World Cup at all. But mentions obviously false flags, right? And the significance of the false flags, especially when it comes to, major events, right? Yeah, so I'm just scrolling through some of the false flag stuff, but really nothing major that sticks out to me. But certainly, here's the thing: Q told us that when news goes bad for the Democrats, what normally happens, right? Yeah, Trump is hitting the Q post quite a bit lately, without question. Texas Liberty, yeah, bit, right? Furry Grizzly watching on fast speed to catch up, survived the power outages today in Bee Cave, Texas. Wait a minute, there were power outages right around the corner from me here? Wow, I didn't know about that. Could you tell me more about that, Furry Grizzly? Yeah, watch California. Yeah, no wonder the deep state didn't want reflecting. Now we see exactly what they were keeping hidden. Let's see. Is PDJT Mr. Poole? No, I don't believe so at all. I don't believe so. Could be wrong, but I just don't believe so. Yeah, the world is watching. Christian, good to see you. Good to see you, Farhad. How are you, my friend? Didn't Lincoln fight, wrestle for the presidency? I don't remember. Anybody know that? May 17th, 2021, exclusive inside the military's secret undercover army, Newsweek. You'd love this, Dave, if you haven't read it already. Very interesting. Let me see if I can remember to get that. Yeah, interesting. I want to hear more about that. Okay. All right, let me take you to a couple things here. So let me take you to this. This is this is Fetterman, okay, John Fetterman, who again, who would have thought him as part of the Q operation, right? But he's doing some pretty good work with the Q operation, wouldn't you say, my friends? Unless you think he's just, you know, he is what he is, but and not a part of the White Hats. But he said he was the only Democrat on the Senate's Fraud Exploratory Committee to vote in favor of opening an investigation into Malia Obama's suspicious USAID grants when she was still living at the White House in 2007. She was just a kid, said Fetterman, so shouldn't we be looking at how a high school girl snatched $2.3 million for writing pen pal letters to a few dozen kids in Africa? Fetterman says the party's refusal to investigate its own people is the main reason he believes there will be a red wave in November. Nobody sees it coming, but mark my words, okay? This is a claim saying that that's false. No such grants exist, and the story originates from a satire site. I guess I should have done without this one, folks. That has come up since I originally did that story, and I'm going to trust it because, you know, why would they lie? Yeah, let me get to UK authorities issue stern warning to British people to stop being stabbed by Muslims. Yeah, right. But let me get back to okay. Oh, the timestamp on the on this one, on the Bond one. Okay, this is Ultra Maga Dean who did this. Okay, Trump 007 is this picture of Alfred E. Newman and James Tellerico in the Oval Office. They're just completely trolling him. We do a little trolling. But the 1144 timestamp is what is significant from Il Donaldo Trumpo. And that timestamp is hold on. 2344 memes ready. Are you ready to see arrests? Are you ready to see pain? Are you ready to be part of history? Well, this is where this came in, and that is the here, let me pull that back up for you real quick. Okay. Are you ready to see arrests? Well, this is all about bringing, are you ready to see pain? This is all about this meme that we were using. Let me take this off. Let me drop me. The thumbnail that we used tonight is the Police Department of Corrections, New Jersey, Policemen's Benevolent Association. Both of these are the Punisher. This is, you know, are you ready to see pain? Okay. Very significant. These posts, folks. I can't say it enough. All right. let me get back to the chat and see what you guys got to say here. Oh, by the way, folks, please, just, help a brother out. Do a gift, do a donation. Check out SNED PEMF. We're going to do a show next week with Maria. We're going to talk about how we can help the body heal. That's going to be one heck of a show. If you missed Maria's show that we did just a little over a week ago, you will, you'll be blown away by this lovely lady and the healing benefits of the PEMF without question. I'm dropping the donation link in all of the chats. So please check out the donation links and just take some time to support this channel, this independent media, which is absolutely vital to keep me going and keep me on this hill, watching out for you, warning you of things to come. Folks, this is your support is much needed and much appreciated as well. Let me get to, this is the Punisher, my friends. This is, it just doesn't get any bigger than that. Really doesn't. This is the, here we go. Let me pull it up. What's going on here? There we go. All right. And here's what comes up with the Punisher. Look at this. Look at that. Okay. April 13th, 2020. Okay. Keyword Punisher. Here's some more Punisher with the skull, right? Pain. Boom, week ahead. Treason doesn't pay well in the end. This is only the start. What did we see earlier? But boom, 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 boom. Okay. Equal justice under the law, transparency, disclosure, and accountability justice is the only way forward. Future of our republic at stake. Watergate times 1,000. September 14 to 18. 21-25 track and follow events. Did Kevin set his alarm? They're talking about Kevin Kleinsmith. But look at all these Punishers, right? God will judge our enemies. We'll arrange the meetings. Okay. Pretty cool. Pain coming. All right. Pretty cool stuff, my friends. Let's see what this says. When we're done, he'll claim Kenyan citizenship as a way to escape. That's Barack Hussein Obama. But you can't have it both ways, my friends. I'd be happy to see him go. So at any rate, wow, my friends, the comms are off the chain. Off the chain. Are you ready to see arrests? Are you ready to see pain? Are you ready to be a part of history? I know I am. I'm ready. I'm ready to bring this damn thing home with finality. Right? Nithya Raman is surging in mail-in ballots and is on track to overtake Spencer Pratt for second place in the LA mayoral race. That's what they had to do, my friends, right? That's what they had to do. Because they needed those second votes. Listen to Clay Higgins.
Man, all these Republicans voting to send more money to Ukraine. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All the Democrats, and from what I counted, 19 Republicans voted for it.
19 Republicans.
Unreal. keep you posted. Oh,
Wow.
man, all these Republicans.
So let me shift gears, get you back to, yeah, okay. Unbelievable. Okay. Okay. This is huge. This is yesterday in a meaningless vote. The House voted 4 bad Republicans. Oh, I gotta take you there. Come on, David. They're waiting on you. They're waiting on you to bring them along with you. And what's going on? And why are you not dialed in? Where is he? There it is. Okay. All right. Let's make sure you're on track with me. Okay. Yesterday, in a meaningless vote, the House voted 4 bad Republicans and all of the Democrats to limit my war powers right in the middle of my final negotiations to end the war with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Who would do such an unpatriotic thing? They know where the negotiations stand. The Democrats are fueled by Trump derangement syndrome. They would rather have our country fail than give me another of many victories. The 4 Republicans, thanks to that's a whole other story. They're grandstanders. They should be ashamed of themselves. MAGA President DJT. That was today. Now, what's significant about this? Well, he's basically saying that they can't do this and they're exposing themselves, and he's going to just sidestep it, and they're going to have to try to take him down another way, which isn't going to work. Okay. This is the sports, college sports, right? It's crazy. Just get men out of women's sports. That's all you got to do, right? There's another one. There's another one. The Save America Act is so huge, and they tried to vote on it today, but they couldn't. So they're not really trying, right? These were the guys that rebuilt the reflecting pool. Very cool. Shout out to you all. And this is before and after of some of these amazing statues, right? Christopher Columbus, just amazing. We had some great, it's just incredible. Now, President Trump also posted his success on TikTok. All right. And look at Trump on TikTok, 400 billion all-time views of Trump TikToks. 60 billion views across all TikToks on President Trump, 13 billion across all TikToks on Operation Epic Fury, 2 billion views across all TikToks thanking Trump. Views across all TikToks on Trump's peace talks was 1 billion. So a lot of people are seeing this, my friends. State of the Union, 668 million. Trump's World Cup, TikToks. Views across all TikToks on Trump's Farm Aid, 38 million, right? Some pretty significant stuff, right? Okay. All right. The fountain was dedicated more than 100 years ago in 1912, and after it stopped working in 2007, Obama and Biden let the fountain fall further into decay. There was significant work required to get the fountain functional. The first photo below is what the Columbus fountain looked like after it was vandalized under Biden. This is what they allowed to happen, okay, during these protests. Look at that. Unbelievable. I mean, he's cleaning it up, my friends. He's just flat out freaking cleaning it up. I have been a little bit tired, so my apologies if I'm a little off. I went and got my P90 Plus. I let my ex and my daughter use it. It helped my daughter, by the way, get over strep throat. I believe she knocked that out like that. and just general well-being. But that's snedpemf.com, my friends. If you haven't checked that out, please do yourself a favor. Check that out, snedpemf.com, and learn a little bit more about this. It's really something, folks. I've got it with a friend tonight. I've got my belt with a friend tonight. My sister's getting great results. I gave him the belt because he's having back problems. So a lot there to unpack, but it's amazing. It's amazing. So basically, President Trump called the Congress out for trying to take away his War Powers Acts as president, and they can't do that. They just flat out cannot do that. And so he's going to expose the legislative branch, just like he's exposing the judiciary, because the judiciary is just as corrupt, if not more so. Okay. And yeah, man, just so much going on. This is President Trump on his war on crime. Thought it would be good to have that. Hold on one sec. There it is. There she is.
From the very first day I took office, our administration has waged the most successful war on crime in American history. Last year, the murder rate saw the single largest decline ever recorded, falling to the lowest level in 125 years. We've reduced the fentanyl coming across our border by 60%, from Washington to Memphis to New Orleans to our southern border. We are restoring law and order to America. Now we're taking our next big step to defend public safety in America. At my direction, the Department of Justice is beginning what we're calling the Model Cities Initiative to slash violent crime in major metropolitan areas all across our country. In selected cities, the Department of Justice will provide $300 million in grants to hire police officers, modernize equipment, provide training, and improve law enforcement. This historic funding will go to confronting substance abuse, preventing youth crime, and combating repeat offenders. In short, we're committed to making historic investments in improving the quality of life of city residents nationwide. For the next 90 days, any city or local government representing a population of more than 100,000 people can apply to take part in this exciting new program. It's amazing. Tell your local representatives to apply now by going to www.justice.gov/grants. With your help, we will put more police on our streets, and we will put dangerous criminals behind bars where they belong, and we want to keep them there. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good time. You're amazing people.
This is also what's important to remember about this is that the judge that I showed you the other night that is on President Trump's, after him and on some of these findings is being exposed for being pro Biden, pro Obama, the whole bit, and this will not stand. I think I said. Let me find that. The sheriff's department in LA was flying in, ballots, by the way. Unbelievable. This was the other one I wanted to show you. The 007 gun, right? This was from August the 17th, right there. Okay. And then here's the gun turned upside down, and here's the 007 gun. Okay. The Wilderness of Mirrors. Okay. Very interesting. June 2nd, take us down to June 2nd of this post. The Trump 007 takes us to that. June 2nd, a week to remember. The Wilderness of Mirrors book cover concept. Casino Royale in 1953 kicked off decades of spy fiction defined by real-world intelligence, phrase a wilderness of mirrors. So talking about the CIA, okay. Yeah, very interesting. And then memes ready. Are you ready to see arrests? Are you ready to see pain? Are you ready to be a part of history? And that was the timestamp from that I showed you earlier. And I covered this the other night, dark to light, right? And that was June 2nd, dark to light. So really some really interesting Daystine comms, my friends, really like next level stuff. Okay. And it's ramping up, right? It's ramping up more and more. Ted Lieu was trying to get Rubio's goat and talking about how President Trump has fallen asleep and how he can't stay awake in meetings. And Rubio, you got to see it, but he was accurate. I guess POTUS did fall asleep for just a few seconds here. And there you go. Dear haters, thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay. Love that. Okay. So, yeah, these guys are traitors on the Save America Act. Unbelievable. All right. We were running out of storage, liberal tears. Libs of TikTok, this is an actual quote by Graham Plattner. I would rape them to show them that I'm dominant. But I kind of show you some absolute truth coming up here. Steve Hilton, great stuff here.
Race. We are as confident as we've ever been that I'm going to make it into the top two, be there in the general election, and offer California a real chance for change this year. Change is coming. Having said that, this election is just another massive shambles brought to you by California Democrats, on top of the high-speed rail that they can't build, the homelessness that they can't clear up despite spending billions of dollars on it. Now they can't run an election. It is an absolute joke. Makes California a laughingstock.
How does Florida count all their ballots a couple hours and we take weeks?
We are a laughingstock, but even Democrats are admitting that right now.
This is a national disgrace, my friends. Forget that. It's an international disgrace.
And now they want to put, by the way, someone in charge who even the Joe Biden cabinet thought was its own most useless member. This is just beyond real. You've got Nate Silver saying that what's going on with California's elections is failed state stuff. And that is exactly right. Because under 16 years of Democrat one-party rule, it is a failed state. I want to reassure you of a couple of things. When you see things out there about shenanigans with the election or whatever it may be, I just want to reassure you that our team is on it. We are keeping a very, very close check on everything. We have a team of lawyers standing by if needed. So far, there hasn't been anything that makes us think we need to move into action with lawyers, but they are ready when needed. Most important thing is actually what you can do. I want every single one of you to make sure that your vote for me and for all the other candidates you supported is counted. You need to go to this website, california.ballottracks.net, or you can just Google, where's my ballot? That will tell you where your vote is, whether it's been received, counted, and so on. It's a good service. I use it myself. You can have confidence in it. It will tell you what's happened to your ballot. Then, if there are any issues at all that you're concerned about relating to your ballot or anything else that you're seeing with this election, please report it. Here's where you need to go. The California Republican Party website, cagop.org. Then you'll see a button that says Election Integrity. Please please make an incident report. There's a button there that says incident report. So that is what I'm asking every single one of you to do. Make sure you track your ballot. Make sure that your vote is counted and your voice is heard. At the end of all this, even if it's another month, it looks like it might be, I think that we're going to be in a very strong position because we're going to be in the top two, ready to offer change to California. And one of the biggest changes we need to make is to our election system. India counted over 600 million votes in a day. California is less than 10 million, and it's going to take a month. Totally unacceptable. It's yet another example of how we need massive change in this state, and that's the change that is coming.
So, my friends, check out here's how this change is coming. 29 states. This is from Chicago One Ray. Okay. MAGA 100%. Retweeted by Trump 6 times on the old Twitter. 29 states could see their laws allowing mail-in ballots be counted after Election Day overturned this month. 29 states could be overturned, so they can no longer allow mail-in ballots. California is giving the Supreme Court all the evidence it needs to rule in favor of having the results in on the day of California, given itself on the day of, the election. California giving itself 30 days to count is coming to an end. Okay. Very, very significant. I want to see if President Trump has posted again tonight. And then I want to come back to you all. This is his last one. This was at 8:21 p.m. Okay, about an hour, 20 minutes, hour and a half ago almost. I'd like to thank our great Senator Lindsey Graham for putting up the Save America Act for a vote today. It states that, I showed you this earlier, right? This Tuesday, June 9th, all Republicans in South Carolina should vote for Lindsey Graham. He has my complete and total endorsement and will not let you down, President Donald J. Trump. Now, many people think, including me, that he's exposing Graham, okay? But Graham, without question, has capitulated. Without question, Graham has capitulated. That was this one. I'm sorry, my friends. That's where I was taking you. Where'd it go? Where did it go, George? Okay. Here it is. That's what I was showing you. Right there. Yeah. A big thank you to the National Capital Planning Commission on the 8-1 approval of the Great Triumphal Arch to be built at the base of the Arlington Memorial Bridge, which has been waiting for the structure for over 200 years. When completed, it will be without question the greatest arch of them all. President Donald J. Trump. Now, let me see. I want to take you to President Trump announced a big party today, a big rally, the biggest rally of all time, happening June 24th at 7 p.m. On Wednesday, June 24th at 7 p.m. in magnificent Washington, D.C., which is magnificent now. He talked about the crime is way down. And then, of course, all the fountains, all the buildings, all the graffiti off the buildings and bridges. Now totally beautified in one of the safest cities anywhere in the world. And in celebration of our country's 250-year history, we will be bringing you live the greatest rally ever. It will be special at every level, a rally to end all rallies. We don't want singers with no talent, but big fees to put you to sleep. We've told them all to stay home. Remember, some of them decided they weren't going to come. All we want is you, me, a few speakers, and the greatest music ever played. The same music you have listened to for years. We will have the fabulous Lee Greenwood introducing me with what has turned out to be one of the greatest hits of all time, God Bless the USA, and the amazing Christopher Macchio, who will sing Nessun Dorma. Hallelujah, Ave Maria, God Bless America, and others. Not since the legendary Luciano Pavarotti has there been such a voice. The rally will also be featuring the wonderful U.S. Army Band, Pershing's Own, and Armed Forces Choir, and the President's own United States Marine Band with the Joint Armed Forces Chorus for all your favorite hits, plus a fine and highly dignified gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump. Now, by the way, update on Magnus, doing much better. As a matter of fact, I think I've got one here. I've got a new prayer, by the way, I'm going to ask you for. Excuse me. But he's doing better, my friends. He's doing much better. Okay. Thank you so much. Real miracle that he made it back. My God. So incredible. I'm actually looking for the last update. And okay. Yeah, but he's doing well. He's doing very well. Okay. This was significant because the Nessun Dorma is the sum of all fears, the end of the sum of all fears, right? I got to plug in here. Oh boy. Okay. And it's getting closer and closer to the time when we must see the justice prevailing and bringing on the pain. It's all happening as we speak. I want to take us to, by the way, this post has 107 letters, okay, which is 17, which is Q, okay. And let me take you to that. We'll take you to 107. Code, may God also grant all of us the wisdom to ask what concrete steps we can take to reduce the violence and weaponry in our midst. Note when we just sent the go orders and when this tweet went live, coincidence, pray. Well, the go orders were Green for Go or Roger Ball that we got a couple of days ago, right? Then let's go to 17. Why does Obama travel in advance of POTUS to foreign locations? Why is this relevant? Focus on the power of POTUS as it relates to the Marines. Remember, folks, FISA is going to come out and it's going to be mind-shattering. And of course, the Marines. This is the military is the only way. The only way forward is military, and that is the excuse me. This is the kind of martial law that's going to hit the United States to finish this job. How can military be applied to prosecute bad actors and avoid corrupt agencies and judges? Look at the judges that we're finding out more and more conflicts of interest with judges. And one of the things I wanted to take you to that that I did not yet was the following. This is the judge who ordered Trump's name stripped from the Kentucky Center, married his wife in a ceremony officiated by Merrick Garland. Right? That wife, Amy Jeffress, represented Lisa Page during the FBI texting scandal, which she was texting with Stroke about, we got to keep him out of office, helped the January 6th committee, and now serves as Joe Biden's personal attorney. Her former law firm represented E. Jean Carroll against Trump. Trump says Judge Christopher Cooper has a total conflict of interest and asserts he can't be treated fairly in Cooper's court. Okay. They ruled to take his name off immediately, right? And I posted, one conflict of interest is disqualifying, several is criminal intent. Trump is taking many personal hits in exposing the corrupt judiciary, right? So President Trump took us with 107 to 17. How can military intelligence be applied to prosecute bad actors and avoid corrupt agencies and judges? He even called the gentleman today about that executive order central casting. Biggest advance drop on post online above is reason why the shills are sliding. In case you didn't know, shills log and send new info back to ASF for instruction. They use a 5-prong prepackaged injection. This is kind of how they're manipulating social media. One post auto generates 4 more at random designated times. Common drive of posts they all tap into. Since they misjudged the influence of the MSM, they are aggressively looking to censor throughout major platforms in exchange for CIA slush funds and worldwide access for expansion of said networks. Everything they do has been forecasted and prepared for. He sent us to this today. And then 71 follow Huma, Saudi Arabia, HRC, North Korea, ISIS, Saudi Arabia, and it basically is, you know, Obama was Saudi Arabia. He was propped up by Saudi Arabia. The Clinton Foundation was propped up by Saudi Arabia. The Awan brothers, the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay, this is all coming to fruition, my friends. This is all coming home to roost, and it is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Let me get to any questions you have. Oh, so my sister-in-law that I've known since I was 6 years old, please say a prayer for Brenda. She is absolutely fabulous. My oldest brother's wife, and she gave birth to 4 beautiful children. Those 4 beautiful children have given birth to 24 children. Amazing family, and she has cancer, and she has some complications. So I ask you to please say a prayer for this wonderful, wonderful, beautiful being, Brenda Snedeker. Thank you very much. Vicky, Dave, your voice takes on such a beating bringing us the news. Maybe cut some lemon slices to have handy on your desk, sucking on them for your throat. That's great advice, Vicky. I'm going to pick up some. Thank you for that. Magnus had 2. He swallowed, Robin, the squeaker toy that got lodged in his small intestine, and he had a surgery. He came out of that surgery. The next day he got sepsis. He had to go back in to another place for another surgery, where they performed another surgery. He had 2 surgeries and within days of each other, and then had to go through blood transfusions, had to go to another place, Texas A&M. What an ordeal. And we thought we were going to lose him many times. So, there you go. So, there we go. You got one of these shirts. Where we go one, we go all, my friends, right there. There we go. Snedheads. Created by Rob Swade back in the day, in Vegas. Let's see. Jingle, thank you for sharing the show all over. Folks, if you do share the show, please tag some people or send it into groups. If you're on Facebook, put it into other groups. That's the only way people are going to see it. Anybody who shares, like on Rumble, if you don't have any followers on Rumble, no one's going to see it. If you don't have many followers on X, it's going to be difficult to see it unless you tag people. So please do that. And by the way, feel free to make a comment about it. Don't just save it, but say, hey, check out this bit that Dave does, or been listening to him for years, that kind of stuff. That would really help grow the show. So thank you very much for all that. Yeah, thank you guys. Bless Brenda. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Greatest shirt ever. Yeah. I got a red where we go on, we go all shirt. Cool. Yeah, thank you for all this. Let me go to see who may have donated tonight and give you a shout out. Excuse me. Let's see. You can use your phone to just take a snapshot of that. And that will take you to my my Stripe. You can send me a letter if you'd like, or you could use Zelle, davesned@gmail.com, or givesendgo.com, the head Sned. And thank you to Catherine Drexler for your $10 donation, Kim Lundberg for your $100 donation. Thank you very much. Linda Moon for your $25 donation, and Linda Prasnick for your $25 donation. Thank you very much. Also, Edward Quinn for your $5 donation yesterday. Much love to you, my friend, and thank you. And let me pull up the Stripe and see what kind of work stuff we got going on with Stripe. We've got some, got some stuff, people trying to hack me in Stripe, which is really disconcerting, but it does, it is very safe. Nobody on Stripe, and I don't think anybody on Give Send Go. And but yeah, folks, things are going down in such a really amazing way. Yeah, and so Pratt is losing, but I think it's exposing a lot. All right. And I wanted to show you, let me see. Oh my God. James Tellerico in Texas. Remember they put him in that Chevy and put that cowboy hat on him and gave him some stubble. Look at this. Oh my God, that is unbelievable. Oh, Bolton, by the way, folks, True Stormy Joe reminded me, former National Security Advisor John Bolton to plead guilty to retaining classified information. 2 sources confirmed to Fox News. My friends, this is all a part of the exposure and the declass. Oh, and I got to go back to Marjorie Taylor Greene here in a moment. But I wanted to take you to Bolton years ago, talking about Trump. Oh, by the way, here we go. Tellerico, by the way, donated $2,500 to defund the police group during the 2020 riots this summer. George Floyd, while cities burned, white cops were attacked. While cops were attacked, he asked supporters to match his donation. Don't forget, this guy is an absolute piece of shit, and he is in a deep state. Check this out. Robot stands in somewhere in Asia. and kicks his kid in the stomach. What's up with that? Looks like the child is really hurt. The kid is still down. In this post, by the way, Mario Nafal said a robot kicked a little boy in the stomach. We're officially one software update from Terminator. Crazy, right? Let me take you to the CIA guy, 40 million in gold bars. He was worked on Pentagon's secret sub program. Let me see. Ripcord. President Trump posts on Truth Social, the one I showed you. Judgment is coming. Takes you to 136 timestamp. Judgment is coming. Zeus Cafe reportedly selling a drink called Trump Bullet in the Head. Unbelievable, right? Indian H-1B workers leaving Texas in droves. Home prices plunged 9%. Their visa crackdown is triggering a housing bust in Dallas suburbs like Frisco, Saline, and Prosper. New $100,000 visa fees, higher salary requirements, and state-level freezes on H-1B petitions, combined with AI-driven technology and tech layoffs, have forced many Indian workers to leave the country within 60 days of losing their jobs. As a result, home prices in Collin County suburbs have dropped nearly 9% year over year. Builders are stuck with 125 unsold luxury homes, and foreclosures have risen 44%. This is what we need. This is what we need. The negative press that they're up against on mainstream media is unbelievable. This was what I was saying earlier. Josh Hawley gavels in pro forma session to block Trump from making recess appointments. We've got to get rid of these rhinos. John Bolton pleads guilty, sentenced to 5-year imprisonment at SeaWorld from the Babylon Bee. This is freaking hilarious, my friends. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay.
This country needs this country needs a fair press. And one thing I think that's done is expose how corrupt our media is.
Yeah.
And I really do, while we're here, I hope the media looks at this election that's taking place in California, where they think it'll take 7 or 8 days to count the votes. Can you believe this? I mean, they spend all that money on the machines, big voting machines. They think it's going to be 7 or 8 days before we know who won the election. But the numbers are looking strange because without any vote counting, the numbers dropped very precipitously for 2 Republicans that are doing well, that had been doing well. And I hope you're all watching it, because I'm watching it very closely.
He's watching it very closely, my friends. It's going down. Okay. And yeah, I wanted to get to you. Somebody in Virginia, longtime Virginia residents have a live ballot for the California primary. That's a problem. Okay. Let me see. Okay. The Google 64 million Wolbachia infected mosquitoes in the neighborhoods in Florida and California. This is from Dr. Simone Gold, one of the frontline doctors. This is reckless, irreversible biological experimentation on American communities and our ecosystems with no off switch. Florida recorded just 6 West Nile cases last year. The risk is negligible, yet they're proceeding anyway. These altered mosquitoes could disrupt birds, bats, and entire food chains with consequences we cannot undo. Enough of big tech playing God with our environment and our health. Tell the EPA to reject this dangerous experiment. Link in comments. Public comments closed tomorrow, June 5th. This is absolutely insane. So let me share that out to you. Talib, just what a joke, what a joke. The Border Patrol stopped 240 Haitian nationals attempting to enter the U.S. illegally. Kash Patel nationwide manhunt for the most wanted fraudsters who stole U.S. taxpayer dollars through their system. They're really going after these folks, guys. SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, paid Klan members to stay in the KKK. Why the capital HC from beer at the parade? Has anyone ever seen a happy communist HC? We talking about Hillary Clinton, maybe? This is
ultimately, I think people will see, read the indictment.
This is John Bolton talking about Trump having these documents that he should not have. Check this out.
Read the indictment, which I don't think many people have done. It's really a masterful piece of work, in my view. It is devastating, and it really should be the end of Trump's political career, let alone the beginning of his jail time. Ultimately, I think people will see this behavior by Trump was a serious threat to national security.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. And by the way, when do birds sing? Bolton's going to be singing like a canary, my friends. Unbelievable. So, my friends, thanks for being with me tonight. This was a lot going on. I won't be with you tomorrow night. Not sure about Saturday night, but keep a lookout. I'm keeping a lookout. I'm watching everything. The comms are off the charts, my friends. Major things going down. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep the faith. Hold the line. This is really, really spectacular. This is really something what we're watching. This is history in the making, folks. We are a part of this revolution, and just be glad for that. And just, continue to share, continue to talk about this, continue to expose these people. And thank you for your support of this Truthcast. I love you. Good night. I'll see you soon. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.